Hi everybody. Well, we're in our third week of lockdown here in New Zealand, and hopefully by now you've settled into the home office and are figuring this remote working thing out. But if you're a manager of a team, I'm sure you're finding that there's a few challenges in managing a remote team. And one of those challenges is, how do you keep that communication going really well with your internal team? And I think this is a time when some clients who had really good internal comms channels, they're doing really well, and some who didn't prioritize those internal comms channels before lockdown are finding it a little bit more difficult. So I just wanted to talk to you today about the channels that you are using for internal communications. What are the 5 functions that they really need to be performing for you? And we'll do a blog post as well and put that on the website so you can have a bit of a more read in detail of what we're talking about today. So the 5 functions that your internal comms channel should perform. The first is to allow you to broadcast messages. And by that I mean, there are some important company messages that you will have to be putting out to your teams. So you need some channels that allow you to do that. For example, of course, email, a formal address to your staff by a video or audio, podcasting, look into that perhaps. And the good old-fashioned company newsletter still works really well. So that's the broadcast. The second function your channels should perform for you is the allowance for that interchange, for that two-way communication. So look at maybe some chatting apps like WhatsApp. Or, of course, video conferencing. Everybody's doing video conferencing. Those are great ways to really be able to get that two-way communication going. And the third function that your internal comms channel should perform is that collaboration. I think we're all missing, getting in the room together and getting the whiteboard out and doing some brainstorming and that sort of thing. But there are some great technologies that allow for that. I think, a lot of people I know are using Microsoft Teams. Slack is another one that I'm using with a client, works really well. And of course, we've got the Google Documents, SharePoint, Dropbox. So there are ways to keep that collaboration going. The fourth function that your internal comms channel should be performing for you is the ability to get feedback. So, it's great to gain ideas from your team. That's how you improve, right? So, the one-on-one check-ins with your team, that's most important to get that feedback. But, then look at some things like, if you've got a closed social media channel for your team, could you do a Facebook Live Q&A? Of course, video conferencing again. And of course, you can do a surveys, a focus group, and just kind of ask for some feedback about how you're going. How are the messages coming across? People have anxieties or questions about things that you're not addressing. Just ask them, what else do they need? And I guess the fifth function that your internal comms channel should be performing is the ability to socialize, because that's a big part of work I think that we're all missing. And don't underestimate the importance of people just having a good chat to each other and a laugh. And so, encourage things like having a video conference for tea or lunch together, or, a Friday 5 o'clock drinks together. I even heard of one organization that was doing quiz nights with their teams. So that's something fun too. So don't forget that. So the 5 functions, again, are allowing you to do broadcast messaging, that interchange, that two-way communication, collaboration, getting feedback, and the fourth is encouraging that socializing over your channels. So have a read of our blog post for a little bit more information, and we will see you next week. Thanks.